Hey, it's Brian Mudd. This is the video cheat sheet for Monday, August the 15th. A very active weekend, especially if you're so politically inclined after the Iowa straw poll and all the festivities. We'll get into that in just a moment, but first probably the thing you care about most, your pocketbook, the economy, your job, your family, all that. All right, so here's the deal. The news is still better than not if you're looking for a better day sooner rather than later in the economy. A survey of all of the latest forecasts from all accepted economists in the United States of America have the chance of a double-dip recession at just 30%. That's better than what I've been saying, right? So maybe they'll be right. We can hope as much. The bad news about that is that is twice as high as it was just 3 months ago. So obviously more economists are now predicting that we enter a double dip. But still, I mean, there are scenarios that can help us avoid a double dip recession. The single biggest one being the price of commodities, especially oil. You know, oil is stabilizing in the mid $80 barrel range, which means that you still should see about 20 to 25 cents a gallon less in about 2 weeks or so. So there is still some positive news out there. Meanwhile, the way that stocks ended last week ended up soothing a lot of our nerves going into the weekend. That didn't keep us from yanking out a lot of money last week, though. Last week alone, we ended up pulling $15 billion out of stock funds. There's one kind of crazy statistic and everything last week. While we might have been diving out of stocks, guess who wasn't? The people actually running those companies. We saw a near record week for insider buying. More than 1,000 corporate insiders ended up buying shares of their own company stock last week. That certainly tells you that many of them are probably in the camp with the economists, thinking that there's a better chance that we avoid a recession than not, and that a lot of the sell-off in many of the better companies, they don't believe was justified. And so that's a great deal of confidence if you do still have your money in stocks that the corporate executives are putting their money where your money is, or at least was. Meanwhile, the GOP field, a lot of action over the weekend. The Iowa straw poll means nothing. Unless, of course, you're trying to raise more money on the campaign trail like Tim Pawlenty, in which case coming in a distant third when you put all of your chips into that basket, well, that means you get out of the race. And so T-Paw is gone. So who is the odds-on favorite? Is it the winner, Michelle Bachmann? Actually, no. Keep in mind that Rick Perry was a write-in candidate and Mitt Romney didn't participate in the weekend's festivities. They, of course, are still the front-runners. So where people are putting their money in trade, the prediction market, the odds-on favorite coming out of the weekend is Rick Perry. He's being priced with a 37% chance of winning the GOP nomination right now. Mitt Romney in second with a 30% chance, and Michelle Bachmann a distant third with just about 9%. Where people are putting their money for the GOP nomination. Should be exciting here over the next couple of months. Meanwhile, technology time. We have been talking about security issues relative to your smartphones and how the next line of security software was probably going to be for smartphones. Well, McAfee, one of the leaders, along with Norton, which is the owned by Symantec, they're coming out with various apps. McAfee first. McAfee's ready to go. With an iPhone app, it does just what you think it would. It's going to run security scan software. It'll even have the ability, and this will be important, to end up running information on attachments. Let's say that you check your email on your smartphone and you want to open an attachment, but you're not sure if it's safe or not. Well, you will be able to set it so that it will be scanned before it opens on your phone. That's become one of the bigger problems of late. Meanwhile, Verizon, the situation in New York is only getting worse. The 45,000 workers on strike, they're still on strike. And now Verizon is calling it sabotage, and they've even called in the police. So it doesn't look like there's happy resolution there anytime soon. Meanwhile, my grandmother, she's without a phone right now because she moved, and you can't start new phone service in New York right now in certain parts because, well, they're all on strike. So Grandma, if you're watching this online, hang in there. And I don't know, I mean, I'm sure New York is still great and worth all of the trouble these days, right? The good thing is you got low taxes. Whoops, you don't have that either. Anyway, that's the cheat sheet for today. We'll see you tomorrow.